What's up, everybody? My name is Alex Wilson from Fireside Giants and Empire Sports Media Production. You're listening to the Fireside Giants podcast. If you are a diehard Giants fan, my friends, you've come to the right place. Daily episodes, interviews, draft content, and so much more. Make sure to leave a like and a comment below on the YouTube channel. We always love to engage with everybody. It makes it a big part of this community. In today's episode, I want to discuss Saquon Barkley, one of the more sensitive topics among this fan base, but I think we can all kind of come to the conclusion now. It's unfortunate he hasn't really lived up to the potential that he once had when Dave Gettleman initially drafted him second overall back in 2018. The guy had over 2,000 all-purpose yards in his rookie season, looked like one of the best players in the NFL, and then the injury started to happen, the torn ACL, the total knee reconstruction, and his kind of career took a left turn when everyone thought it was going to take a right turn. So really unfortunate. A lot of different things that kind of involve him and discussions we have to have, but the main two are, do we look to trade Saquon Barkley and what would that mean? And do we look to keep Saquon Barkley and why would we keep him for one more season? Now, it's important to know this. Saquon Barkley has $7.2 million left on his contract, right? He has 1 year left. It's his fifth-year option. After that, the deal expires and either the Giants let him walk and find a new team or they extend him. Now, based on what Joe Schoen, new general manager for the Giants, and Brian Daboll did with the Buffalo Bills, they did not use a premier running back in their system. In fact, they passed the ball about 70% of the time. Look over at the Kansas City Chiefs. They spent a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He does not look the part. Damian Williams ended up having a much better season, and Gore, like an undrafted free agent, ended up doing pretty well at the end of the season there. They did not need a top running back either, let alone the second overall pick to be one. So looking at the Bills, looking at the Chiefs, I think it's a pretty healthy consensus to say, an educated guess, if you will, that Saquon Barkley will not be extended with the Giants unless he's taking an unbelievably team-friendly deal, which I highly doubt. And with that being the case, the business decision would say if the Giants are not going to extend him, which I'd say the probability of them extending him is maybe 5%, 10% at best. And if you think about it logically, getting as much value from him now rather than just letting him walk for free seems like the best move, right? It seems like the best move, but you could also make the argument that Saquon Barkley has so much value on the field as a player. You should keep him. He'll help this team win some games, remain competitive, at least make a positive impact. And the Giants can therefore show some sort of growth and, at least put some positivity on the field rather than just going full overhaul, not really knowing what to do at running back. You still got Devontae Booker, who they can save $2.1 million if they cut him from. They have Gary Brightwell, who they drafted in the 6th round last year, who doesn't seem to be much of an impact player moving forward, more so a special teams guy. So, when I'm looking at the Giants, do we keep Saquon Barkley or do we let him go? I think it really comes down to, do the Giants need that money now? If they manage to trade him, what can they get from him, right? So let's say Saquon Barkley's deal, $7.2 million, the Giants would save theoretically if they manage to trade him. But you look at another team and say, what team is going to want to consume a running back's contract for one season at $7.2 million? And what would they be willing to give up for a player with that ridiculous, pay, and Saquon not having the best of seasons? Maybe a team that's on the cusp of championship and has a rookie contract. The Chargers don't need to have Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon with the Cincinnati Bengals. Lamar Jackson, they have an unbelievable running game without Saquon Barkley. They don't even need him. They got J.K. Dobbins. Jacksonville got Travis Etienne. Najee Harris with Pittsburgh. There's not really many teams that I could say need Saquon Barkley but would be willing to spend that much money. And no middle to below average teams are going to look at Saquon Barkley and see him as a change, like a big impact player who's going to like elevate them to another level. So if there is a team that's willing to acquire Saquon, the highest draft pick that I personally see a team giving up for that type of cap hit from a running back is maybe a 4th round pick, right? Giants might be able to get a 4th round pick. They're really just getting rid of the contract. A 4th round pick isn't that valuable. Really just getting rid of the contract. It depends on if the Giants really want the money to spend this offseason, which I don't think is entirely necessary. They could probably go out and get a decent offensive lineman, which may be more valuable than Saquon Barkley at this point. So you can make that argument. But I don't really think so, especially with all the draft capital we already have. And is a 4th round pick really worth it? The Giants might get a compensatory pick by letting him walk after the season. So keep that in mind too. That equation may play into this down the line. But if Saquon Barkley has a ridiculously successful season, he has a great year, proves that he's really impactful and influential, the Giants could potentially get a compensatory pick back from him that would be more valuable than the 4th-round pick they get, from a prospective team in a deal. So that might be an argument to make, and I think that's probably the best argument to make for retaining him. $7.2 million is definitely significant, but the Giants have $92 million as it stands right now in 2023, plus an additional $18 million if they elected to cut Leo Williams, which, I don't really have an opinion on that. They could obviously save the money, but then they're getting rid of one of their best players. So there is a trade-off, of course, but they have plenty of money next offseason. Cutting Saquon Barkley now is going to it's not going to do that much for you, to be honest with you. His contract is done after this year anyway. The Giants are going to be spending lucratively this offseason anyway. So I think the best course of action is simply to just keep Saquon Barkley, let his contract expire. Hopefully you get a compensatory pick next offseason, and it's better than a 4th-round pick, or maybe it's the same thing. So you walk away with the player. The money is not that impactful right now. The Giants are not competing for a playoff position next season, right? It's a rebuild year. The $7.2 million is not going to do much. It's not going to make a big difference. The only thing it would do really is help them snag a free agent off the market right now. They can lock them up for multiple years. That's the only thing. So I'd love to hear a perspective. This is a short video because it definitely is an interesting topic, but it's not much to really talk about. It's really just, do you think that they should keep the money, or do you think you just keep them, let the contract expire? Hopefully you get a compensatory pick, and hopefully it's a good season. Maybe they trade him at the deadline mid-season and to a team that's willing to take the rest of his contract, and you get some good stuff. But ultimately, that's kind of my perspective. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know on YouTube. As always, hope you enjoyed this video, and catch you guys on the next one.